What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Today, take a look and remember at that first clip we just saw, because it's going to be rare, and what we're going to talk about is the Necrochasm and its explosions. That's right, this is kind of going to be our little bit of scientific testing on the Necrochasm explosions that we've got. Cursebringer, it has now changed for Age of Triumph. It now triggers on any kill, body shot or headshot. So what we want to do is we want to go into a private match and test this stuff out. I want to see how much damage it does. Can it one-shot a Guardian? What does it do? What type of radius does it have as far as being able to deal out damage? There's a whole lot of stuff that I want to test, and we're going to walk you through things that I want to find out. We're going to see what we find out and see how effective this explosion is. Because whenever we're going around in PvE, we can see that the explosion actually does some pretty nice damage. It does a pretty nice job of killing those red mobbing enemies that are around. There's not much of a difficulty of getting a kill with a Necrochasm, getting that explosion to then kill other things, even like that shielded guy who also took arc damage, which I think everybody already knew that the explosions were going to deal out arc damage, but we saw it right there, we got the blue numbers. But first things first, and the main point of this video is testing out the Necrochasm. And we're going to use these ammo boxes. They're going to be what kind of guides us as far as range goes. So you can see that I'm standing 7 meters away, but where I'm standing actually isn't important. We've got Devil Dog and Incucio in here, and they are going to line up their distances based on the ammo boxes. So Devil Dog is on a Striker Titan, and I told him to go as much armor as humanly possible with his stats. He's got max armor. That's good. That's exactly what we want to test out. For Incucio, I asked that he be on a Hunter, and he's got minimum armor. So we've got Devil Dog on a Titan with max armor, and then Incucio with minimum armor on a Hunter. We're going to see if those things make a difference at all. The first thing we want to do is see what type of radius the Necrochasm explosion has. So Incucio is lined up 5 meters away. Whenever I go and kill Devil Dog with the Necrochasm, we're taking a look, and at 5 meters away, Incucio did not take any damage. So 5 meters away, no damage. I guess that means that we have to move up just a little bit. So Incucio is going to go into 4 meters of distance, and we're going to kill Devil Dog yet again and see if he takes any damage. So at 4 meters away when we kill Devil Dog, we see that Incucio did indeed take 62 points of damage. So at 5 meters, nothing. The falloff is at 5 meters. 4 meters in though, he did take damage. 62 points of damage. Next up, we're just going to move up to 3 meters, and whenever we kill Devil Dog, we see that Incucio takes 68 points of damage, and that actually leads into my next question. So, it looks like that was already answered, which is, does the Necrochasm explosion have any damage fall-off? It clearly does. Now Incucio is sticking 1 meter away, and whenever we kill Devil Dog, we can see that the damage went up to a whopping 77 points of damage. So at 4 meters, roughly 62, 3 meters, 68, and at 1 meter, roughly 77 points of damage. So hold on, we've got a few other things to show. For one, the melee range from your Blink Strike is roughly 5 meters. I was sitting 5 meters away, I went ahead, hit Blink Strike, and I was able to hit. So you can hit with your melee override from 5 meters away, but you cannot hit with the Curse Thrall Explosion from 5 meters away. Just something kind of interesting, and something to compare the radius to. The next thing I had a really big question about was, did the barrels that affected impact change anything? So I had on minimum impact, now we're on the maximum impact that the Necrochasm can get. And we ended up getting 71 points of damage. And that to me just was like, wait a second, something funky is going on right here. Not that it did more damage, but the fact that it did less. The problem was, there is a really big and finicky issue with how far away you are. Basically, the damage starts falling off very, very quickly with the Necrochasm. You have to be as close as humanly possible to the character who ends up dying in order to get the maximum damage. We found out that impact does not have an effect. The only thing that has an effect is the proximity you are to the person that dies, and we found that the maximum damage we could get or could do was 79 points of damage. So impact had absolutely no effect. But would getting a critical hit kill as opposed to a body shot kill like we've been getting have any effect? It felt like it wouldn't, but we wanted to test it out anyway. So Devil's right here in position, and I'm trying to be very careful to make sure I get a critical hit shot, and it didn't matter. 79 points of damage as well. Now Incucio noticed that there's a little bit of a delay between the explosion and the death of the character. So what he's going to try to do is, whenever we kill Devil Dog, he's going to try running forward into the middle of the explosion. Still 79 points of damage. So 79 points of damage absolutely is the maximum that you're going to do with the Necrochasm explosion. Though you saw how much damage that was taking to Incucio's shield, we're also going to test things out a little bit different. We're going to swap roles. So remember, Devil Dog has got the maximum armor, and Incucio has the minimum armor. So we're going to see if Devil ends up taking more or less damage based on his armor stat. But as we can see, the armor stat doesn't matter as far as the actual raw numbers of damage. And you can just see that he's going to take the exact same amount, but he's obviously going to be left with more shields and more health as a result of having the increased armor stat. So if you're really worried about these explosions, just pump up the armor. Now Devil came up with something really interesting. He wanted to compare the damage of the Icebreaker explosion to the Necrochasm. So we're getting our headshot kill there, and it dealt out 63 damage. So the Icebreaker explosion was definitely significantly less damaging than the Necrochasm explosion. And one other interesting thing, you could see that Incucio took 62 points of damage there, so the Icebreaker explosion also deals with damage falloff. So both explosions have falloff on their damage, though the Necrochasm explosion is definitely significantly better. The only other thing we wanted to try right here is Incucio got his health down with the Touch of Malice. We wanted to see if you had no shields, if you could potentially die. And the short answer is basically no. You have to have even more damage than that in order to die from these Curse Thrall explosions. So that kind of surprised me, because again, as we see back in PvE, it's really not that difficult to get a lot of enemies down with those Curse Thrall explosions. But in PvP, that damage seems scaled down. 79 is definitely the maximum damage that you can do, and in order to get that, the two Guardians basically need to be touching. That's why I put that clip at the beginning of this video, because I got a double kill with the explosion, which is going to be a relatively rare sight. You've got to really be close to enemies, and they've got to be grouped up, and they've got to have low health, otherwise it's not going to happen. So just to recap some of the stuff that we ended up finding out. So at 5 meters away, the damage is completely fallen off. You've got to be within 5 meters to take damage. The maximum damage at 1 meter or touching a Guardian is 79 points of damage. Also, there is fall off on this stuff, so the further away you are from the explosion, the safer you're going to be. And if you compare the damage from the Icebreaker explosion to the Necrochasm definitely beats it out. So what does this mean for this gun in PvP? I don't think it makes that much of a difference as far as the changes go. You might deal out a little bit of damage, but this thing definitely has more power right now in PvE than it does in PvP, and I think that's pretty fun and interesting. So that was my testing with the Curse Thrall explosions. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your Necrochasm, and I'll see you around in Destiny. #boom.